All right, I wanted to make a quick video because I didn't make a video like this when I originally spec'd with Crystal her 2022 992.1 GTS. And this year they've just announced the 992.2 GTS. So what I thought would be cool would be to look at the window sticker, the way that we configured the 992.1, build effectively the same car in the new configurator as closely as I can, compare the differences, and also the price increase, which is pretty dramatic, and look at visually what the differences are between the two cars. So first, I'll show the spec of the window sticker of the 2022 991 GTS that we have. You can see the base price was $136,700. We spec'd it in Guards Red, the standard interior, GTS interior with race text, extended range fuel tank, which I think is a bargain and a must on these cars. I have it on my 991 GT3 as well. Rear axle steering, which I don't know if is a must, but it's on my GT3, and the car handles so well that I thought it was wise to go for that option here in a rear-wheel drive car. I love the exclusive design fuel cap. You can buy it aftermarket, but it's the same price. Crystal ended up adding the glass sunroof, and she's so happy that she did. She uses it all the time. I think it really looks cool too with the black trim of the GTS. We ended up adding the interior carbon fiber. This was great, though I ended up ordering additional pieces to cover the piano black from DB Carbon. The central tack in Guards Red. The smoking package is free, and it just gives you an extra storage unit add-on. The Bose sound system. This was more impressive in the GT3 than it is in the 992, but it is what it is. Seatbelts in Guards Red. Manual transmission, which you can no longer get in the GTS. Storage package is free. And I don't know what this is, ornamental Porsche crest. So total came to $145,930. So now going to the configurator, you see the base price is now $164. So from 137, I mean, a huge increase. So let's go in and build it as is. So Guards Red is no longer a standard color. It was. They've removed a lot of colors. It's still available though, but it's a $1,500 option. So Guards Red. Now you can see immediately some pretty big visual differences to the front of the car. So let's just compare side by side. Let's see if this works. Yeah, pretty big differences here to the front fascia. I actually love that the 992.1 GTS came with the sport design front bumper. I think it looks awesome, way better than the standard 992.1 front bumper. Not sure how I feel about this with the gills. I also prefer the headlights of the 4-point headlights that came with the 992.1. And also looking at this now, the standard GTS wheels I actually prefer in the earlier version. Similar, but a little different. So anyway, getting back to this configurator. So we selected Guards Red. We keep the GTS specific wheels that are center lock. I don't mind center lock. I have them on 3 cars now. I have all of the tools. I can remove them and install them quickly. I uh, I think they look awesome. If you get a flat tire, you're not removing your wheel on the side of the road anyway, so I don't really see what the big deal is. Wheel colors, they come in black, so that's how we left them in satin black. Wheel accessories, none of that. So Crystal Spec just left the standard interior in race text. It's a zero cost option. It's part of the fundamental uh, GTS package. So Alcantara is part of that look and feel of the GTS cars that are basically the step below a GT3. And so we elected to leave the same. And the interior looks pretty much the same. Leather on the perimeter of the sports seats, Alcantara in the center, Alcantara here on the door panels with leather on the top of the door panels, a leather dash, um, and Alcantara on these bits as well. So yeah, it's a good interior. The Alcantara on the in her case the manual gear shift knob as well as the steering wheel. Perhaps we should have shifted this to leather just for daily use. She's not as particular about keeping it clean as I am in the GT3. It gives it a cool feel though, so it's a 50-50. I use Sonax leather cleaner once a year and basically get it back to new. So seats, we ended up leaving the four-way sports seats. They look very cool, especially compared to the regular sports seats. If you switch to these are just narrower. They don't seem as well bolstered. They don't seem as sporty. Now, in hindsight, we have kids, so we have the rear seats in ours. We use the rear seats a lot. The one pain with these four-way seats is that the tilt is manual through this little pull tab, but then the slide forward is also manual. And that's just a pain to slide the seat forward and back every time a kid gets in the back. Um, you also don't have memory settings, therefore. And I think in hindsight, I probably would have sprung for the adaptive Sport Seat Plus, the 18-way seats. That leaves them just as well bolstered, way more adjustable. They have the same cool look. You get the memory package. I actually find the Sport Seats Plus a little bit uncomfortable. They're a little too narrow for me. They don't have a lot of lumbar support, so I think this is the biggest regret that I have. I don't think Crystal minds it, but when the two of us switch off, we've got to readjust the seats and refine our preferred seating position. Anyway, we left this as is. We did select the rear seats. I don't even know if this was an option to delete or to add back in the 992.1 GTS. I think you had to select the full bucket seats, or maybe the option was to delete the rear seats, not to add them back. Um, no premium package. And then exterior packages, she didn't do any of these. We left everything matte, no aero kit. One thing that's really odd is that all these decals are showing GTS. Hers has GTS, but now this new decal says T hybrid, which is really goofy. I've heard it's a regulatory thing in the US where a hybrid must be labeled as such for first responders. But in any case, we didn't add any of these exterior details. Window trim and high gloss black. Nope, we just left it as the standard matte. The GTS package is really nice. Everything is blacked out. The headlights are blacked out. Um, you get the blacked out rear um, lights, the wheels, and I actually think that we did get the exclusive design fuel cap. Titanium engine cover is a waste of money. We left the door handles in red. No roof. Oh yeah, roof system. Okay, so she did end up with the glass sunroof. I would highly suggest you get the glass sunroof. Uh, um, it looks so much better. It's clear. It lets in a lot of light. I think it really looks mean with the GTS package to just black out the roof. And it ended up, it works great. It looks really good. She loves it. Exterior design, none of these things did we change. Now, the biggest thing here is that we have the manual transmission. This only comes with the PDK now. It's an 8-speed PDK as opposed to the 7-speed. We left the standard brakes. Standard brakes on a 911 are fantastic, and these are the Turbo S brakes, which are just insane. We've got black wheels, so brake dust is not that big of a deal. There's no need, I think, to get a ceramic brake on this car. We did get the extended range fuel tank. It gets, we did a road trip, and it gets over, it's almost 600 miles to the fuel tank, which is amazing. No power steering plus. The power steering is plenty light. The GTS package does come with the sport exhaust, which is great. It sounds really nice. I think it's the perfect tone for this car. I do like the rear, more centered exhausts that are a throwback to the 991 GTS. If you look at the rear of her car, you know, the exhausts are nice, the oval exhaust on the sport exhaust, but they're set out wide and it doesn't differentiate itself from a Carrera S or a base Carrera as much as the more central exhausts do, which I think is a nice touch. The GTS comes with the PASM and the lowered 10 millimeter suspension. This, I guess, gives you the option to raise it. I will say that the stiffer GTS anti-roll bars are replaced with standard and Carrera S anti-roll bars. I will say that the GTS was shockingly stiff when we first picked it up. I think it's almost as stiff as the GT3, the 991 GT3. And on some road surfaces, it actually feels more uh, bumpy and more chassis uh, roll and pitch. So it's pretty damn stiff, but it looks great lowered. I think it matches the tone of the car, and it with the rear wheel steer, it gives it a really go-kart like feeling. Now, we did not elect for the front axle lift system. Uh, this car doesn't have crazy overhangs; it's pretty high. She, it does scrape every now and then, but it's just very rare, and I just don't think it was necessary for the $3,000. So what I don't see is the rear axle steering. Um, we did not get the Matrix design headlights. They already came with the upgraded PDLS headlights. Um, Exclusive design taillights, I don't understand what the purpose is here because the taillights are already not red. So it adds a single element here, but I think unnecessary. If the lights were red, I might switch to this blacked out look. Standard equipment for tinted gray top windshield tint. I don't know that hers came with that. Lightweight and noise insulated glass, no. Rear wiper, no. So it looks like you cannot add rear wheel steering anymore to the GTS. Now I'll have to research if that comes as standard or if that's just an eliminated option in the new car. It's interesting. So then getting to the interior, um, no deviated stitching, no extended leather. What she did like, we went and we sat in a car at the dealership, and she really liked the matte carbon fiber to replace these aluminum-like panels. So it looks like interior trim inlays in matte carbon fiber. Interior trim inlays in matte carbon fiber and trim in black and trim in ceramica. No, we have it in black. So that is that option. And you can see that changes all of these door inlays, this center. And then again, this piano black gets scratched up so easily. And so I added a DB carbon panels that perfectly match this interior matte carbon. None of these options, no deviated leather. Now seat belts, we did add guards red seat belts, which are a great touch. And we added the red tack, but you can no longer add that because there is no analog tack, which is a digital tachometer. So that's a touch that you lose. We did not add a sport steering wheel. One note is that this car came with a electric tilt telescoping steering wheel. Because of COVID supply chain shortages, it was delivered without that function. So it's a manual tilt telescope steering wheel. And then we got a credit, like a check for $500 or something. And then the final, we didn't do any of this. None of this. Storage net, yes, it's a zero cost option. Fire extinguisher, no, not in this car. No assistance. Interior comfort. Home link, yes. Smoking package, why not? It just adds this removable ashtray. And then audio and communication Bose. So I think that's it. We're now at 173,000. Wow, more than my 2019 GT3. So insane. And let's look at the options here. So let's compare. I think we have all the options correct. So let's see if we can pull these both up. Guards red, the standard wheels, leather interior in black. They don't call it anymore, the standard interior in race text. Sport seat plus is correct. Rear seats. Yeah, rear axle steer does not seem to be an option. exclusive design fuel cap, electric tilt sunroof, extended range fuel tank, matte carbon fiber interior, central tack you can't spec, smoking package, Bose, seatbelts and guards red, 7-speed manual cannot spec, storage package yes, and that's pretty much it. So that's basically the car, and the price difference is pretty staggering. So again, 145,930 versus 173,765. Only 3 years later, or 2 years later, when this car was released. Hers is a 2022, and this was released in 2024. I guess all these cars are probably coming in as 2025s at this point. So 3 year difference. And then for the visuals, let's just take a look at the car. We'll take a look at the 360 view. I think for the most part, the car captures the same look and feel, the blacked out look and feel of the 99 2.1. I prefer the look personally of the first gen, but I guess it's subjective. The first gen is lighter. The first gen, most importantly, has the manual transmission, 473 horsepower is plenty, and I wouldn't want the complexity of a hybrid or the future reliability hit. I think that front bumper is very different, and I think the bigger difference is probably in the look of the rear. I do think that this is a more distinctive exhaust look that really tells you it's a GTS, but again, subjective, and I kind of prefer the 99 2.1. So hopefully that was helpful. It's cool for me to see how the configurator has changed and just look over the sticker and reminisce about how we configured the 992.1. Again, I think the only thing that I regret not putting on there is the Sport Seat Plus with the memory package. I think that's probably worth the extra 3,000 or so. But that's pretty much it. All right. See you guys later.